Before the world even knows you're awake, before the noise of traffic, the demands of your inbox, or the weight of your to-do list hits you, you have a sacred window, a narrow space of time that belongs completely to you. That window is the morning, and what you choose to do with it determines whether your day works for you or against you. Most people don't even realize how powerful the first 20 minutes of their day really are. They open their eyes and immediately reach for their phones, letting someone else's agenda hijack their mindset before they've had a chance to shape it. Their mind goes from peace to panic in under a minute. News alerts, negative headlines, social media comparisons, or emails that demand immediate attention. From that moment on, they're not leading their day, they're reacting to it. But the people who win, those who build momentum early and carry it through everything they touch, those people guard their mornings like gold. They understand that how they enter the day is how they engage with the day. They don't stumble out of bed. They rise with intention. They don't start in chaos. They start in clarity. Because they know if you master your mindset early, the rest of the day has no choice but to follow your lead. Your thoughts in the morning are like the blueprint for your emotional state. If you begin in frustration, you carry that tension into your conversations, your decisions, your productivity. You're short with people, rushed with your time, and reactive to every challenge. But if you begin your day with grounded focus, gratitude, and belief, you're not just calmer. You're more creative, more decisive, and more in control of how things unfold. Momentum isn't a mystical force. It's math plus mindset. It's how quickly you can go from waking up to walking in alignment with your goals, and your mindset is the engine. You don't need a perfect morning routine filled with complicated rituals. You just need ownership. Ownership over your attitude, ownership over your energy, ownership over your intention. Because once you control that first hour, the rest of the day starts running on the track you laid down. Imagine two people starting their mornings differently. One wakes up and says, "Ugh, another day. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I don't want to do this." That mindset sends a signal to the body and the brain. Conserve energy, avoid discomfort, expect problems. The day hasn't even started, and already they're walking uphill emotionally. The other person wakes up, maybe still tired, maybe still stressed, but they choose to say, "Today I lead. Today I show up for myself. Today I find solutions, not excuses." Same tiredness, same stress, but a completely different launch. And that difference in mindset creates a chain reaction that determines what happens next. One person spirals, the other builds. You can't always control what the day throws at you, but you can always control what you throw into the day. And if you're throwing in strength, clarity, discipline, and drive right from the start, it gets a lot harder for distractions and doubt to knock you off course. There's a reason champions talk about their mornings. There's a reason top performers build mental rituals into the first part of their day. It's not because they like waking up early. It's because they've learned that the mind is most vulnerable and most powerful right after sleep. That's when your subconscious is most programmable. That's when your brain is still deciding what kind of day it's going to have. So if you begin the day reminding yourself of your goals, if you start with gratitude instead of complaint, if you breathe deeply instead of rushing, if you speak to yourself with strength instead of doubt, you're not just changing the way you feel, you're rewriting the way you perform. You're giving yourself emotional leverage, psychological strength, and a focused lens through which the rest of the day must pass. Your energy isn't scattered, it's aligned, and that alignment creates velocity. It creates flow, it creates momentum. Too many people are sitting on the sidelines of their own lives, waiting for something to change before they take action. They wait to feel inspired. They wait to feel ready. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect circumstances. They treat motivation like it's a lightning bolt that strikes from the sky, rare, unpredictable, and completely out of their control. But the truth is, motivation is not a feeling you wait for. It's a force you create. People misunderstand motivation. They think it has to come first. They believe they need to feel energized before they do the work, that they need to be excited before they take the first step. But in reality, it's the opposite. Action leads to motivation, not the other way around. Momentum is what creates energy, and momentum starts the moment you decide to move. Even the smallest step in the direction of your goal can trigger a shift in your state. One rep at the gym, one page read, one difficult conversation started. Suddenly, you're not thinking about doing the thing, you're doing it. And once you're in motion, the energy starts to build. The hardest part of any task is starting it. The resistance in your mind is always strongest at the beginning. That's where doubt lies. That's where fear sets up camp. That's where procrastination whispers all the reasons why today's not the day. But if you can push past that first wall, if you can take action even when you don't feel like it, you tap into a deeper level of discipline. That's where the real power lies. That's when you go from being a prisoner of your mood to being the master of your focus. This is what separates those who get things done from those who just talk about it. The doers don't wait to feel good. They act themselves into feeling good. They understand that motivation is a result, not a requirement. If you wake up tired, you move anyway. If you don't feel like showing up, you show up anyway. That's how internal drive is built, not by waiting but by deciding. You have to train yourself to move before you feel ready. Every time you do that, you're reinforcing a powerful identity. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who shows up even when it's hard. I am someone who takes action, not just someone who talks about it. That identity becomes your armor. It becomes the foundation for consistency, and consistency is the real secret to progress. Not a single spark of excitement, but the steady fire of repeated effort. Waiting for motivation is like standing in front of a cold fireplace and asking for heat before you put in the wood. You have to build the fire, you have to light the match. The warmth comes after the work. That's the price of growth, and once you accept that, you free yourself from the trap of hesitation. You stop giving power to your mood, and you start giving power to your mission. Look around at the people who are achieving things you admire. Look closely, you'll see that they don't always love the grind. They don't always feel pumped, but they move forward anyway. They've trained their brains to work through the fog. They've conditioned their minds to say, I do it whether I feel like it or not. That mindset gives them an edge. Because while others are waiting to be inspired, they're out there making things happen. While others are searching for a reason, they're becoming the reason. Motivation doesn't knock on your door every morning. Some days it doesn't show up at all. That's why you need to lead with commitment. Motivation will meet you after you move. The energy you're looking for, it's buried underneath effort, the spark you're chasing. It's hiding inside the process. The more you act, the more fuel you generate. The more consistent you are, the more powerful your momentum becomes. Discipline is the well motivation drinks from, and movement is the trigger that wakes your potential up from sleep. The thoughts you speak to yourself first thing in the morning are not harmless. They are seeds, and every seed grows into something. Whether it's a flower or a weed depends on what kind of seed you're planting. That's where the power of self-talk comes in. That's where the force of gratitude enters. These aren't just soft ideas. They're hard tools. They are mental weapons. And if you know how to use them, they will shape the way you see your world, the way you act in it, and the way the world responds to you. Gratitude is not just about feeling good. It's about focus. Your mind can't be consumed by what's missing when it's deeply aware of what's already present. When you wake up and consciously choose to look at what's working in your life, you shift the way your brain processes everything. You stop scanning for threats and start noticing possibilities. It's not pretending everything is perfect. It's recognizing that even in the midst of struggle, there is something to hold on to, something you can build on. Gratitude interrupts negativity. It puts a pause on the endless loop of comparison, frustration, and doubt. And that pause is powerful. That pause gives you a breath. It gives you control. It gives you a second to reset your energy before the world starts throwing distractions at you. The moment you say, "I am thankful for this breath," you've already grounded yourself. The moment you say, "I'm thankful for this day, this opportunity, this body that still moves," you've already shifted into a mindset of ownership. From that state, you don't operate like a victim. You operate like a leader. Gratitude is emotional armor. Life will test you. People will fail you. Plans will fall apart. But if you've trained yourself to look for the good even in tough situations, you'll always find your footing faster. You'll navigate chaos with clarity. You'll be able to push forward without losing perspective. And perspective is everything. Two people can experience the same day, the same job, the same relationship, and one can be miserable while the other thrives. The difference isn't the situation. The difference is where they choose to focus. Now combine that with self-talk, and you create something even stronger, because the conversation you're having with yourself in your head all day long, it's shaping your identity. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain will believe you. If you say, "I can't do this," your body will stop trying. But when you flip that script, when you start your morning saying, "I've got this, I'm built for this, I've overcome worse," you activate something deeper. That voice becomes your internal coach. It becomes your mental compass. Most people talk to themselves like their enemies. They repeat every doubt, every fear, every criticism they've ever heard. They reinforce their own limitations with their own words. But if you can shift that inner voice from judgment to encouragement, from fear to belief, from panic to power, you change the entire way you show up. You don't need to lie to yourself. You don't need to pretend. You just need to remind yourself of the truth you've been ignoring, that you are still in the fight, that you are still in control, that you have overcome before and can again. Self-talk is not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about choosing how you're going to face them. It's not about fake positivity. It's about real strength. It's about speaking to yourself like someone worth fighting for. Because that's what you are. You're not your failures. You're not your fears. You are the person who keeps getting up. And the more you tell yourself that, the more real it becomes. Gratitude anchors your focus. Self-talk directs your energy. Together, they create a mindset that's unshakable, a mindset that sees the challenge but chooses growth, a mindset that acknowledges the pain but leans into purpose, a mindset that doesn't just survive the day but steps into it with strength, clarity, and conviction. There are two people walking through a storm, same wind, same rain, same dark skies overhead, but one of them sees an obstacle and the other sees an opportunity. One slows down, complains, and waits for the clouds to clear. The other picks up the pace, pushes through, and keeps moving toward the light. What's the difference? Not the weather, not the path. The difference is attitude. Your attitude is louder than your circumstances. It speaks before you do. It shows up in the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you look people in the eye. It's the energy you carry when you enter a room, the tone in your voice when you face resistance, the belief behind your actions when nothing is guaranteed. Your attitude is your atmosphere. And just like a strong enough wind can change the direction of a storm, your attitude can shift the entire direction of your day. Circumstances are external. They happen to you, but attitude is internal. It happens within you. And when you understand that distinction, you realize that you are never fully at the mercy of what's happening around you. You have the power to decide how you respond, how you interpret, how you move forward. That decision is everything, because while your situation might limit your options, your attitude determines your experience. You've seen people who have everything working for them. A great job, good health, supportive relationships. But they carry a negative, bitter energy that drags them and everyone around them down. At the same time, you've probably seen people with very little who radiate strength, optimism, and grace. They may be facing struggles you can't see, but they choose to rise above them every day. They're not being fake. They're being intentional. They've learned that life doesn't reward you based on fairness. It rewards you based on what you do with what you have. You don't control every event, but you do control your posture in the face of it. When life pushes back, your attitude is your stance. It's the way you plant your feet when everything else feels unstable. It's the decision to keep your head up even when the weight is heavy. It's the choice to say, "This may be hard, but I'm harder." That kind of attitude doesn't come from comfort. It's forged in adversity. It's shaped when things don't go your way, and you decide not to shrink but to sharpen. People often think attitude is just about being cheerful, about keeping a smile on your face. But real attitude isn't cosmetic, it's core. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about standing strong when everything isn't. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about refusing to let pain define you. That kind of strength is felt before it's seen. You can walk into a room and know who's been through something, not because they talk about it, but because they carry themselves with a quiet confidence, a steady presence. That's attitude. Every time you face a challenge, you have a choice. You can let the situation dictate your energy, or you can let your energy dictate the situation. Your attitude is not passive. It has the power to influence people, environments, and even outcomes. Leaders aren't always the ones with the loudest voices. They're often the ones with the calmest attitude when everyone else is panicking. They are the ones who say, "Yes, this is tough, but we're tougher." When your attitude is strong, your limits stretch. When it's clear, your vision sharpens. When it's focused, distractions lose their grip. That's why it's not enough to just react to life. You have to lead your life. You have to be the kind of person who walks into uncertain situations and brings certainty with you. The kind of person who, when circumstances are screaming, speaks back with clarity, with purpose, with resolve. Because at the end of the day, your life is not just shaped by what happens to you. It's shaped by what you bring to what happens. And what you bring begins with your attitude. Before the world places demands on you, before the clock starts ticking, before responsibilities stack up, you face a simple but powerful truth. Every day is a decision. Not just a series of tasks, not just a calendar filled with appointments, but a personal decision about who you will be, how you will think, how you will show up. And that decision doesn't happen once in a lifetime. It happens every morning. The alarm goes off and you're not just waking up. You're making a choice. Some people drift through their days on autopilot. They let the day happen to them. They react instead of respond. They follow whatever energy surrounds them. If people are negative, they become negative. If challenges appear, they become discouraged. If the day starts slow, they stay stuck in neutral. But that's not life. That's survival. That's existing, not living, and it all begins with a missed decision, a missed opportunity to declare, "This is who I am. This is how I choose to face what comes." You don't have to control everything to lead your life. You just have to control your decision to lead it. That decision starts when your feet hit the floor. Will you approach the day with fear or with focus? Will you give in to excuses or rise into action? Will you shrink into comfort or step forward into purpose? Those aren't just moments. They are choices. And every single one of them sets a tone, builds a habit, creates a direction. The most successful people aren't lucky. They're deliberate. They've trained themselves to decide, again and again, to lean into their power rather than their problems. They don't always feel ready. They don't always feel strong, but they make the decision to be committed, not casual. Purposeful, not passive. Every day they decide to go one more round, to show up again, to stay focused when distractions shout. That kind of life doesn't happen by accident. It happens by repetition, by the repeated choice to own the day before the day owns them. Every day brings opportunities, but most of those opportunities don't come with signs or certainty. They come dressed as discomfort, hidden inside routine, disguised as inconvenience. You have to decide to see them. You have to decide to act on them. You have to decide that today matters, even if it looks ordinary, because that's the truth. Most of your life won't look like a movie scene. It'll look like 5 a.m. Alarms, hard conversations, staying consistent when no one is watching, and doing the right thing even when it's not rewarding you right away. That's where the real decisions are made, quietly, daily. Without applause, the person you are becoming is not shaped by one big moment. It's built by 1,000 small decisions you make when no one else sees, and each morning gives you another chance to decide. You can decide to keep playing small or to stretch into something more. You can decide to keep complaining about the past or take control of the present. You can decide that your goals matter more than your distractions, that your values matter more than your comfort, that your direction matters more than your doubts. Decision is power, not because it changes everything instantly, but because it changes your posture. It gives you leverage against hesitation. It gives you clarity in a world that wants to keep you confused. When you say, "Today, I decide," you draw a line. You say, "I am not leaving this day to chance. I'm not handing it to negativity. I'm not surrendering it to fear." That decision doesn't make the day easy, but it makes the day yours. It's easy to underestimate the power of a day. We think we'll wait until next week, next month, next year to really get serious. But one day is a life-shaping tool in the hands of someone who's made a decision. Just like drops of water create a river, just like steps become miles, decisions become destiny, not by magic, but by movement, by deciding and then acting, then deciding again. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present enough to decide what kind of person you're choosing to be, and then honor that decision through your actions, your words, your thoughts, your effort again and again, one day at a time. Every morning offers more than just a new beginning. It offers a decision point, a chance to shape your energy, your direction, your future. It's not about waiting for perfect conditions or being in the right mood or hoping life goes easy on you. It's about choosing who you will be before the world decides for you. Your morning mindset creates the momentum that fuels your day. Action, no matter how small, will generate the motivation you're searching for. Gratitude and powerful self-talk are not cliches. They are tools of the mentally unstoppable. Your attitude doesn't whisper, it roars, shaping how others see you and how you see yourself. And above all, each day is a decision, your decision. So don't coast through your mornings. Don't sleepwalk through your life. Set the tone, lead the day, command your energy, because when you decide to take control of your mind, your voice, your attitude, and your actions from the very beginning, the day doesn't just happen, it becomes yours.